Welcome to Big Mike and Little Ant. We actually are coming to you with a spoiler review for the new Mutants, a spoiler discussion as we call it. We did review the movie last week, so I know it's been about a week, but we did want to get into the details of why we are of our thoughts of the movie. And this is going to be once again a spoiler review. So I'll go ahead and now kick it to my partner Little Ant and let him
All right, guys, so I'm not even going to coin the term spoiler review. Let's just keep that spoiler discussion because you guys got to actually check out our review. So make sure you watch the review that we actually did. It'll be in the link. The link will be in the description below. So, Mike, I wanted this movie to be so good because I felt like the tone of movies, Marvel movies or superhero movies this year was like creepy kind of. And I like that setting. I was like, wow, this look real dark. But they didn't give it to me, man. Like, yeah, I feel like it half-stepped. Like, and I feel like it was just all over the place a little bit. Like, they just didn't give you a good, solid movie. Like, I felt like they wanted to sprinkle, like, a creepy movie. But still...
What is spoilers discussion? To go into details. What did you like about it? Since it is spoilers discussion.
All right. So what did I like about it? What I didn't like about it?
Let's go with both. How about that?
All right. So what I liked about it was it felt like it was like another X-Men, right? It felt like they was building like a new X-Men franchise. I like that they mentioned the X-Men. So you could tell in this universe, the X-Men is established, right? So that was cool. And you can't tell if the X-Men was young or not. So it leaves you to want to know more about the X-Men, right? But so that was cool. So the setting was cool, because they all being in that hospital felt like the mansion with the X-Men, right? Mm-hmm. What I didn't like was the lack of character development. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the plot wasn't good. I didn't like the villain. I didn't like how it ended. Like there was too much that I didn't like, and it just really, I wanted this to be so good. Like I wanted this to be oh man, it's a Marvel movie, but it's like dark, and it was dark. Don't get me wrong, but it just was like, it didn't go there, man.
So I agree with you, and I said this a couple times already, but I feel like it was a reason why even before the pandemic, the movie was pushed back so many times. I did hear there was a lot of reshoots on this movie, so I don't know if they kind of messed it up. Maybe they had something good. The funny thing is that even how it came out, if it would have stayed with Fox instead of Disney, it's still supposed to be a trilogy. So I'm like, I don't know where they could have kind of went from there, but maybe the other movies would have been better, hopefully.
Well, only thing I could say is if they was planning on doing 3 of these, they could use hype of the X-Men. So let's say at some point the X-Men come out and there'd be subtle tie-ins. So because you could use a bigger franchise or story and then kind of allow it to, trickle into something else that isn't as big,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. The reason why I feel like I have to watch every Marvel movie is because they're tie-ins, right? You feel like you can't miss something. So that alone will make certain movies more popular than they should be.
I agree 100% about that. I feel like that, like you said, character development wasn't good. Then they developed a relationship between the Wolfsbane character, played by Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, and the main character, Danny. And they had this like relationship that came out of nowhere, it felt like, right? And it was like, you guys only been there a day and a half, and now you're like madly in love with each other and stuff like that. I just don't know.
Yeah, that was that was crazy. But I guess, not to take up for it, I guess just because of their situation, so they're living in this hospital, they don't have family, they don't ever go home. So I feel like their lack of caring is probably what, took in listen, if I was in the same situation, it is what it is. I don't care, but they could have went about it a little bit differently, I guess, to make it more fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
They could have made, like what I just explained, they could have explained that. They could have been like, I mean, they leave it up to your interpretation, but they could have had like some type of dialogue, like, you know, because of the situation, I feel like I'm drawn to you more. And you know, it's such a short time. I know movies try not to explain everything, but I feel like
Right.
this was one of those times where they'd probably been better if they did have that dialogue, you know.
Right. And also feel like that, you know, in this hospital, like these are they're kids, but they're still powerful mutants. Like I know the lady had the force field on them, the
Right.
doctor in the movie, but I'm like, I thought it was more security guards. It would have been. I thought it would have been something besides just her by herself, keeping them
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
was really weird. I guess only thing I can say is I'm assuming the way they made it sound was people had her trust, but
Right.
at the same time, like remember in the beginning where the new girl tried to run and smacked into the wall, and the one chick with the sword was laughing at her. She knew that there's no way to get out. So I guess they know like, and I'm assuming because she had those powers that like could put you in a small bubble, maybe she did that before. You know, I feel like it's a lot that they didn't mention, and I feel like they
There you
just
go.
wanted you to draw in the blanks. Like, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, duh, didn't you watch the movie? But it's still like it would have been nice to spell it out a little bit. I feel like this movie was one of the movies that needed detail. They always say the devil's in the details. If you don't pay attention to the details, the devil will win. Well, in this movie, the devil won because it's like you just went and seen it and was like, I didn't like this movie. Like, I don't know. I wonder if anybody liked this movie.
I haven't really heard that yet. You know, I watch a lot of reviews, a lot of stuff, or whatever like that. So I haven't seen anybody who actually really liked it. It feels like they had this movie on the shelf for 3 years. Like, you know, let's just put it out there, you know, and see what happens. Kind of not like they were anticipating a good response.
Well, you know what's cool? I think is not cool, but I guess works because of the pandemic. I keep nicknaming this a throwaway year,
Right.
and I feel like you know what, we had it for so long. You know, put it in 2020. Hit it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, just people barely could go to movies. Now people start going to movies. Just throw it out in 2020. A lot of people don't take this year as serious. You almost feel like you're getting the leftovers, or everything isn't as it should be. So I feel like if there was a good time to throw it out there, because I feel like if this came out where all these other movies with superhero movies are coming out, it would have got a lot more backlash. You're like, wait, we don't seen Black Widow, we don't seen this, that, and you gave us that. But right now it's like,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a good point. I don't feel like studios are really um, looking at the numbers they really should do this year because they
Right.
know that they can't do it anyway. So they're
They
like,
got they
whatever
already
I get, I get.
yeah, they already have an excuse to be like, how come that movie didn't do good? It came out in 2020. Like, oh my bad.
Right. I kind of agree with that too, but I don't want to prolong this, man. We already kind of rated it and stuff like that.
Well,
But
hold on. Tell me what you liked and didn't like.
uh, I like the huh. I like the girl with the. I know I like the girl with the sword. And
Okay.
with that being said, and that's actually Colossus's little sister from the X-Men
Okay.
movies,
Right.
actually. And with that being said, though, I thought so. The movie centered around the backstory from Danny, and she was the girl who her power was to take your biggest fears and make them come to life and stuff
Right.
like that. I thought it should have centered around the girl with the sword. I think her backstory would have been nice to see too, with the whole people with the smiley faces and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because she was a much more interesting character, I thought it should have centered around her, whatnot. Danny, though her power was the whole fear thing was, you know, whatever. I thought that like as a character, though, she was boring, you know, overall. So
Right.
that's what I did. That's what I did like. So I like that girl with the sword. Um, I like the possible idea of it, like you know, like the as far as teenagers and first developing their powers, and what comes because it's like hitting puberty, right? So you have puberty, you know, things change. Same thing for the
Right.
mutants. That's when they first getting their powers. So by the time they're like 15 or whatever in this movie, they're still just really learning their powers and how they can use them. So
I agree.
I like the idea of trying to get them to understand that. I like where it could have gone, you know, as far as like because the doctor had a corporation who was funding her, who was the Essex Corporation, which is Mr. Sinister. So it
Right.
could have been like turned into a decent trilogy, and it could have been like you know the first one wasn't great, but then it got better and better, right?
Well,
Overall,
do you think it did enough that they will continue it?
no, it's over for them and
Think
stuff.
so?
But yeah, it's definitely over.
Because I feel like I feel like it was interesting enough that I would like to see them as a team, right? So like see them as a team and go up against villains, you know?
I feel like the only way they can continue it is kind of like the Suicide Squad, where they kind of reboot it and kind of like do it again and whatnot. Kind of like they're doing with Suicide Squad over at DC and
Yeah, but
whatnot.
isn't the Suicide Squad movie still got some of the same actors?
Right, but they got rid of some, and it's kind of like not a sequel, but more of a reboot. It's like
Yeah.
weird.
All right, so here's the thing. A reboot is like the same movie but done over, right? It's meaning
Right.
you can't have the same characters. So I feel like it's still a continuation. Can't be a reboot, you know?
They're called. Yeah, I get what you're saying. They're calling it like a reboot slash sequel. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we got to see the movie to really
Yeah,
understand what they're saying. But I know that's what they're kind of called. They're saying it's not a sequel or whatever. So I guess we'll see where we go from there.
it
But
reminds me of American Horror Stories. Like
okay,
every season they use the same characters, but it's a whole different story, but played by the
okay,
same people. So
it might be
that,
something like
that would
that.
probably be
Yeah,
the first time they do that in a movie. If they do that. But anyway, back to this. So listen, since this is a spoiler discussion, we could talk about anything, right? So
yeah.
guys, remember, this is a spoiler discussion. Obviously, we're gonna bring it up. Let's just at least before we go, let's talk about the different powers, right? So we had the one guy that turns on fire. And he explained in his backstory he killed his girlfriend because he held her and got so hot he burnt her to death. They had the girl who turns to the wolf, right? So I'm assuming that's all she can do is turn to a wolf.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
Wolfman, yep. Mm.
right. They got the girl, the main character. She could pretty much get in your head and make you see your
Biggest
biggest
fears.
fears, right?
Mhm.
They had the girl who turned her arm into, I guess, like metal with a sword, since she is Colossus' sister, right?
Mhm.
And she could teleport apparently.
Yep, yep. Creepers
Um,
teleport. Yep.
and who am I leaving out? That's only four.
And the guy who's like a human, I guess like a speedboat or whatever,
Oh
like
yeah, he turned to like sonic energy, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and he could
yeah,
fly and bounce all around. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah,
kept hurting himself. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
those are the powers.
you take those five powers. I mean, that's a cool little group besides the wolf character.
Yeah, maybe it's more to the wolf. We don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Cool little group. Also talk about the ending. We're missing that too.
Oh
Actually,
yeah, let's get into that. You want to take this on, or you want me to take it on?
I can start. So as the movie, because again, it's a spoiled discussion. As the movie develops, at the end of the movie, Danny, who's the character who makes your biggest fears come to light and whatnot. Well, she did the same thing for her biggest fear, which was the demon bear, which they call it. The demon bear, who also was the same demon bear who actually wound up taking out her entire village and killing
Right.
her father, which put her in the hospital in the first place. Well, this demon bear character, well, I'm sorry, they figure out that she's doing this eventually while they're there. And the demon bear character is, so Danny's like knocked out while experiencing this fear. So the bear is tearing up the whole hospital and
Right.
going after all the other kids and stuff like that.
And
And
mind you, it's a giant demon bear.
yes, I'm sorry,
Right.
a
So people,
giant demon bear,
yeah,
maybe 100 feet tall and
yeah,
whatnot.
it's
More.
massive.
So massive. So they're all taking turns trying to take on this demon bear while trying to wake up Danny so the bear can, go away. Um I so the fights with the bear, they weren't that bad actually.
Right. It wasn't that
Um
bad.
but when they finally wake up Danny, you think it's going to be, and I'll let you get into that, which thought it might be.
Yep.
But in the end, all she did was calm the bear down like a person calming down a dog. Like it was just
Yeah.
ridiculous. And
And
then the bear goes away. Go ahead.
yeah, the reason why this is annoying, because they explain that this old folklore, Indian folklore, is inside of every person. There's a good bear and a bad bear, right? So you would think the bad bear is tearing everything up. She should at least woke up and turned into the good bear, and you would have had this big, they could have had the all black smoke looking bear, and then she would have been like this big white cloud looking bear. I don't know, and they had this epic battle. But like Mike said, she literally just woke up, put her hand, was like, calm down. The bear calmed down and dissipated, and that was it. It was like, what? You had a chance to have that epic, Like, whoa. I don't know if maybe they were fighting the bear for so long, because that was a long scene, that they decided, you know what, let's not add her turn into the other bear. But I feel like that made more sense.
Yeah, and you know what? And you know what it is, and for that to be like, I mean, the doctor, that's weird. Like, I guess she was the villain, but she was also good in the beginning. So it was like, so for the bear to be like the big bad at the end, and the bear, remember, the bear has no personality. The bear don't talk.
Right.
So when you have a character like that, all you want to see is a big fight because they don't
Right.
talk anyway. And for it to be that, it was like, really? Like, we walked out so disappointed at the end of that movie.
Yeah, we really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the best scenes was when the wolf chick scratched the doctor's face all up, because that
Right.
like blood splashed everywhere, and it
Yeah.
came out, and it was like, whoa, I didn't think they was gonna take it there. Her face had like the slash down. You could tell when her eyes got messed up. That was cool. That was probably one of the coolest things, you know, because that was when it felt like a serious tone. The doctor was walking around all hurt, and I was like, man, she's probably gonna die from the wounds. And that's when it like, oh, it got like where I wanted it to be, that type of level of seriousness.
Yeah, and
And
even the part where like the kids were fighting, some of the guys really who were fighting the bear were all scared behind the like hide and stuff like that. I don't like that either. Like the girls were fighting the bear, but the guys were like cowering, terrified. What's going on, man?
Right. It's like, come on, you got powers too. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the ending. I don't have much more to say about this. I don't know if you do or not. So.
Nah, I'm done. I'm pretty much, we summed it up from the beginning to the end, and I guess we put everything in there. Guys, make sure you check out our actual review so you can see what our scores was, because you'll be pretty surprised to see the different scores. And my wife actually scored it as well. So you'll have 3 scores on that video. So again, it'll be in the description below. So
all right, and like, comment, and subscribe, of course. Don't forget about doing that. And we'll be back with another review of probably Tenet. Will be our next review soon, probably next week. So
yeah. All right, guys, and stay tuned also for Big Mike Little Ant episode 14, I guess.
14.
Yeah, be coming out soon. All right.
All right. See you.